Oof. Hi. Guess who just watched episode 3? That's me putting up my hand. You can't see on the camera. Me. There. So, we have some stuff to unpack here. We have some stuff. This was less an episode. Like, it gave me what I wanted, which is the explanation of things that were happening and of law and stuff, and why Ozpin is the way he is. But oh dang. So, I am not a fan of these gods. Okay? Like, it's been implied that they're absolute good and absolute evil, but they're also both good, but one's more good than the other. I don't know what's going on, but they're fallible, and I just... oh my god. Oh my god. It's just like... she was like, oh, this guy I'm in love with, we're gonna unpack that later. This guy I'm in love with, he died, even though he spent his life doing all of these good things and saving other people's lives, and that's not fair. Could you bring... he died before his time as well. Could you bring him back? And they were like, you're so selfish and arrogant. Let's make you immortal so you can never be with your love in the afterlife. I'm just like, first off, there's an afterlife, so for all we know, we can see Pyrrha's ghost. Sure, why not? RWBY's like that. We know souls exist, so why not an afterlife? Why not? So that is a lot right there. We could see Pyrrha or Summer, but I don't know if people are arguing about whether or not Penny's going to come back. That's the whole thing. So, oh god. Like, oh Salem, you're so arrogant. So we're gonna make sure you can never be with the person you love again. And it's just like, you could have just said no. You could have just said no. 'Cause you're God. But no, they're like, we're gonna make you immortal, which turned out to be a great idea, didn't it? And then it's just like, and then obviously she was just like, well, screw you guys. Well, they had a dark thing in before, but I'm not going to talk about that because reasons. But anyway, and obviously she was mad, and then she was like, hey, these gods, they can give out immortality. Let's go fight these gods. You know, they've made some stupid laws and stuff. Like, let's just take them out. And honestly, I'm just sort of like, well, yeah, sort of. Like, I think it's meant to hint at Salem's descent into darkness, but right, like, at the beginning, here, even some point during the middle here, I'm like, yeah, she's right, because, like, these gods, they say this word's an experiment. They don't even seem to really care about their lives. That they think life and death is a balance, a sacred balance that we can't just blah blah blah. And then they just commit genocide and kill everyone on the planet apart from one person who they made immortal and now can't be killed. And then they're like, that'll teach you the value of life and death. And I'm like, what is this? It's so such poor planning. Oh my god. When even I have more forward-thinking skills than these immortal, like, nigh invincible beings, than these literal gods. And then there's just like, at least we find out why Salem's monstery. She jumped into a Grim pit, so yeah, we find out that Grims weren't just a thing that Salem created. That was a theory held by some people, that she created Grim, and that's why she needed to be stopped, because she created something which only causes endless destruction, and that threw the world out of balance, so she needed to be killed, and the Grim needed to be killed, and then there would be, everything would be equal parts creation, destruction, and the world would be balanced again, and it would all be good. But now they're just there, they're just chilling. It's just Beowulfs and Nevermores just minding their own business. And then Salem comes along and replicates that scene from Suicide Squad when Harley Quinn jumps into that goo. And she falls. She falls twice. She falls in the water, and she falls in the life fountain and in the death fountain. And that's interesting imagery when we get Cinder falling through the water in episode 2. That's interesting. I liked that visual reference a lot at any rate, and it's sort of the powers, how these different powers interact with each other. The fact that these gods are completely equal, and it's like, well, I like what she thought was going to happen and what actually happened. Both seem plausible in this like soft magic system, you know. It's like, well, life plus death equals, you know, well, I mean, life plus death when you've exceeded your natural lifespan balances it out. A lot of people would think that they would die, but no, just you become a being of death which will live forever. So undead, basically. Life and death is undead, which, yeah, it kind of explains why she wants to destroy the world, because she's Grim. Like, we knew she was like, oh, this woman, she's like Grim, what is that about? But she is literal she's got grim, destructive god, blah 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 energies, it like soaked into her, so of course she wants to destroy things. But I do like that they tried to keep her as a person for quite some years. She was a person and was able to, well, I was going to say like love and experience happiness and normal human emotions, but I'm not sure if you can say that she feels love in the traditional sense, because if you love something you won't destroy it, you know. If you love someone, then, well, you don't want to hurt them, or at least you don't incinerate them and crush your children in the ensuing battle beneath rubble. Yeah, Salem is like incredibly sympathetic, and then you just get to like just the end of her story, and that was the only point where I was like, yeah, that's not a good thing to do. Because like, up until that point I was like, these gods clearly don't know what they're doing, they should not be in charge. You don't want people with this power who can't use it effectively or in a morally good way. You don't want these people running this world, so let them be gone. Do fight them. Screw those guys. But yeah, so I was with her, like chilling out with the Grim, right up until the. I'm trying to think of what they were actually. They were trying to run the world, and like, I get that, trying to become the new gods, because I don't know, they didn't really give enough information about the state of the world back then, or how humans came back into being, or the different countries and cultures and their relationships with each other or anything. But yeah, like, we don't know what happened. Like, were they taking control of these countries and like trying to create like an empire, or were they trying to take over the world basically, or were they trying to unite all these countries? Like, listen to us and do these things can be, you know, good or bad. It's like, even the good is morally dubious, because someone running a country shouldn't have absolute power. You know, like they do. It's hard to argue with someone who can create fire and stuff in their hands, and just, yeah, there's so much here, there's so much to because Ozpin did that bit as well. So if she's bad for that, then he's bad for that. And the only part where they're of different morality levels is when she kills him, and it's implied that she killed the kids. I think that's what they were trying to imply. They probably didn't want to show small children, being crushed. You know, that's I understand why they wouldn't want to show that. They've only just started showing blood, and what they already showed is quite dark. So yeah, we don't need any children begging for their lives on screen. Yeah, that's the only point where I started disagreeing with Salem, so I do hope that they sort of go, well, Ozpin, you and Salem were like, you were both a little bit morally grey, right up until the end. That's the only part where they do diverge, really. So Salem's an indestructible, immortal being who can't feel true love because she has an urge to destroy everything, and she can't appreciate life and death. The gods really messed this up. What were they thinking? Why did they leave a grimification machine there? That was irresponsible. And now it's just like... And then we have to ask ourselves about, is this Salem the same Salem as right at the start? Or is she being controlled by something? Like, is this thing bringing out bad that was already in her, and she's been evil this entire time? Or is she literally being controlled, and if she was somehow degrimmed, at the end of the series, like made good, because she can't be killed, then would that stop her from trying to destroy the world? I guess her plan is. They didn't explain that. So I can't really hate her, and I can't really sympathise 100% with her, because she killed her partner and children, which is evil and not okay, you know? Oh my god. They're gonna have to... Maybe that is how they will defeat Salem, by just making her, like, human, or as human as she can be again. And then her and Ozpin will be able to be with each other again, and Ozpin will somehow have got a new body, and then Oscar can be free to live his own life in his own body again. Maybe that's how it's going to end. I don't know. This is so much. This is so much, and we don't even know what all of the relics can do. We've just got these vague instructions from the God of Lie. Stop all conflict and stop any human conflict in this entire world, because if we get there and even one person starting trouble, we will just destroy the planet. That's such... You can't make every person... That's not gonna happen, you know? There's characters like Cinder. Like, you can't just... be like, I'm gonna stop Salem, and then everything's okay, because then you've got to stop people arguing and fighting and hurting each other, which you can't do, because by definition everyone is in different states of... Everyone has different moral states, and those can change depending on your situation and how you were born and all sorts of things. Like, people are incredibly complex, and you can't just be like, everyone be good, because otherwise the world will get destroyed. Osmond's been put in a very difficult position, and like, him establishing hunters to get rid of the Grim, at least we can agree that that was a good idea. You know? Like, that in and of itself, stopping as many people from dying, that was good. I don't know about the rest of Ozpin's plans, but then again, his bosses or / role models are not great at this themselves, so... Wow, that explains a lot about Ozpin, but at the same time, I have no idea what the end goal is other than stop Salem. Because what else can they do? Stop Salem? Maybe try to get rid of Grim. That would be ideal, but... Yeah, and then... This is so much. Also, I always joke about Salem being evil mum, because of her relationship with, like, Cinder and that. How, like, she treats some of the villains like her kids. And she is literally an evil mum. She killed her own children, so that joke's a little bit less funny now. Like, can I still call her that? Oh dear. This is so much. At least that explains her motherly instincts, I guess. yeah. At least we saw some more relics, at least. That's interesting. We got some confirmation about magic. Everything's comes from the gods. But beings imbued with it specifically seem to have trace amounts which can spread through them having kids, or just however they choose, I guess. The gods basically just made 2 other gods. They were like, oh, we're not doing good, so let's create 2 more gods and see if they can do this properly, which is bad planning. Yeah. I also don't buy the Oz-Salem relationship. If you've watched this video and you know the plot of Wicked, then like, you probably get what I mean when I'm like, Wizard of Oz ships and Wicked Witch ships make me a bit uncomfortable. If you know about Wicked, but yeah, it's very, oh, the knight rescues the princess sort of thing, and that trope is just, like, that's just, the guy rescues the girl and he gets the girl, and I don't like that trope. I wish they'd actually had some development as people before, during and after that relationship, instead of that. I just don't like that trope. It's bad. It doesn't, at least it doesn't immediately be like, oh well, now he gets the girl. At least they sort of hesitated, I suppose, so it makes it seem like the girl is less than, she doesn't seem as much of a trophy, but it's just a ship that just, I don't ship that. Someone's gonna ship it. Balance of probability, but I'm not particularly interested. At least they didn't make it a woman scorned trope, because I was scared of that. Another reason why to not have these characters linked romantically is you sort of get the trope where if a male character sort of, I don't know, it's a whole thing, like a male character who turns a female character down, or something similar, I guess, that she will become like the crazy ex-girlfriend or something and try to ruin his life, and she'll be the antagonist. But I didn't get that with this. It was mainly like, the gods are wrong, but we're here, so let's do this. And then he was like, I'm not sure if we're doing the right thing by making these people worship us as gods. Not really doing what I was told was the right thing to do. And then, yeah, it's a lot. I'm not sure what I wanted. I just didn't really think about it lore-wise too much. I didn't want to predict what it would be, because RWBY is it's one of the more difficult shows to predict for. You know, there are theories that are proven, but there are so many more which are not, and there are so many things that people never predicted would happen, and that happened, and then people just have to be like, Osbin's a 14-year-old now. Like, some things just happen, and we have to roll with it as viewers, and I think this is one of them. Overall, Salem is sympathetic to an extent. We'll have to learn more about her as a person for her to not a summary version, but literally her as a person, to figure out if she is evil or if she's just infected with evil, which is making her do evil things, because there's a difference. And that, I think that will ultimately decide whether or not Salem could be seen as good, evil, or one of them 50 Shades of Grey. That was a bad joke. Oh, I apologise. But yeah. So that's my view on Salem. The gods suck. I understand why Ozpin is, I don't want to say as sucky as he is, as shady as he is as well, because he's like basing his actions off of these gods, which are not great. So yeah, doesn't excuse his actions, but it makes sense his sort of mindset and why he's made so many mistakes, because long-term planning. No one in Remnant can plan in the long term. Everyone ends up messing up at least once somehow with their plans. Like Cinder doesn't see something coming, or Raven doesn't understand what will make her a target and what won't, and anything that Ozpin or Crow does, or yeah. I want to know how people are going to react to this. I mean people in the show. I know how people in real life are going to react to this, because some people are going to love Salem hard. Some people are going to say she's problematic. Some people are going to hate the Oz Salem, I don't know what it's called, ship. Some people are probably going to draw fan art of it. And some people are going to talk about the gods. The gods are a bit cliche, to be honest, but that's okay. I suppose that's not my main priority in the show right now. The visual designs of the gods that are barely present in the show. That's not my main concern. My main concern with this whole thing is how Team RWBY is going to react. And Crow, because Crow seemed at least a little bit surprised by this information. So his loyalty to Ozpin could be challenged, which is, like, thank God. Crow is smart, at least in theory. So him blindly following Ozpin was always a bit like, Crow, what are you doing? So, at least sort of now, we know, we can learn what he thinks of Ozpin properly, and where he lies on these matters and his state of morality. And also, the girls all looking sad and horrified. It hurt my heart a bit, but well done. Rooster Teeth, that was good. I liked that they took this seriously and felt sorry for Salem and stuff like that. I like them being empathetic. I know at least one person in the party is not going to like this. So, conflict. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. I'm a bit less hyped than the last episode, but this was a very exposition heavy tell don't show episode, so I think that's sort of bound to happen. It's like the closest we've got in this volume so far to a world of Remnant, so it's not going to be edge of your seat tense material. It's going to be, well, story time. This happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, so it's unlikely to be one of the better episodes anyway. But I'm not saying immediately, oh, this volume's gone downhill, blah blah blah. I'm sure volume 4, now that that's got out of the way, that we can move back on to the tense stuff and the funny stuff and the cute stuff and the setting up characters, like stuff and conflicts and consequences of things. Salem's the thumbnail for the next episode, I believe. Grimified Salem, not Hot Salem. Well, that's up to you, but you know what I mean. So at least we'll see whatever Salem's doing now. So we might get that stuff from the trailer with her and Emerald, which I'm excited for, because I am one of the 5 Emerald stans in existence. Emerald deserves some love, poor girl. But anyway, I guess we can learn more about Salem as a person that episode, as well as get some of the other stuff that I asked for. So overall, this episode's been an experience. If you do see the reaction, I don't know if it'll upload, then well, strap yourselves in. I got a bit more annoyed in it than my other ones, but as I said, there are some, you know, when you see a character do something stupid on TV and you talk to the TV and you're like, why are you doing this? This is so dumb. There we go. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know if you could have. It was basically me going, like, calling out the gods and saying, I don't know how to feel about Salem. So there's that. I hope you enjoyed whatever this was. Let me know your thoughts about the episode in the comments section. If you'd like to, just no spoilers, because as you can see by the adverts, you know, reaction, which you might not actually be able to see. I forget I do these separately sometimes. I don't have a first account. I can't afford that expense right now. So no spoilers. I'm going by public release only. If you want to talk about what's already out, I'd be happy to. What did you think on this? How do you feel about Salem? How do you think about Oz? What do you think the characters should do? Or even just about the visual designs of things, just anything. In the comments, just without spoilers, I'd be happy to discuss, and I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good day.